The Zwift Academy Women's Finals are here, and the three finalists have been competing for a contract, obviously throughout the entirety of the Zwift Academy Finals, or through the Zwift Academy that has been going on for 2019. But now this past week, they've been with the Canyon SRAM training camp in Andalusia, Spain, battling it out. They're about to do a race out on Zwift, out on the UCI Harrogate World's course from 2019 for one lap. Now, this does not decide the actual finals, but it is one of the markers that's being used for the finals. From a competition that drew thousands of riders and generated millions of watts, the field has narrowed to these three. Catherine Colleen is out there today. She's 23 out of South Africa. We've got Jessica Pratt, 22 out of Australia. And Samara Shepherd coming out of New Zealand, 29 years of age. 3:15 to the start of the race. I'm going to be your commentator today, but we've also got Matt Stevens live on site over there. Matt, what is going on live over in Spain right now?
Well, Nathan, thank you very much indeed. Well, it's an electric atmosphere here in Spain. Basically, the Canyon SRAM training camp, we've had 9,000 competitors started out on this journey, and we have three finalists, as you just described. They've had a really, really challenging week so far. Day one, they went out on the bikes for 2.5 hours, mixed it with the pros. Then they had a brutal ramp test. Yesterday, went on the road, 3.5-hour ride, and within that, they had 2 brutal hill climb races. Today, they were sprinting, and now they have this Zwift race. And as you pointed out, Nathan, the winner of this race won't necessarily win the overall. It's the accumulation of basically performance throughout the week. And tomorrow, these riders are going to be riding for about 6.5 hours all the way to the Sierra Nevada. But all of the team are here. They're going to be kind of cheering these riders on. We know this is a great circuit. It's one of my favorite circuits on Zwift. And the riders have been, well, they're in the zone, completely and utterly in the zone, been warming up now for about 20 minutes. And as you said, Nathan, there's a lot at stake here. They're going to perform their best they can, because after tomorrow's ride up to the Sierra Nevada, there's a pro contract for the 2020 season up for grabs. The stakes are exceptionally high. I cannot wait to see how this race pans out. But it's not just these three riders, isn't it, Nathan? We've got some wonderful, wonderful Zwift riders actually in this field, including the British national Zwift champion as well. This race is going to be tough.
Yeah, there's 42 in the pens right now, as we can see, and it is the 3 on site that are battling out for the contract. 1:30 to start, but there's plenty of community that have shown up as well to push this race along. One lap out on this UCI course. A couple of the draft team members, Adil looks out there, as well as Lucy Collins is out there. Seeing some of the Revo team has shown up. They've been very competitive lately in the esports races we've been having week in and week out. Team Cryogen's out there. Team Fearless I'm seeing show up. Team Turbo as well, with Charlotte Backus, Helen McKay. We're also seeing Line Here Madsen coming from Denmark. Rosamund Bradbury's out there, as you had said earlier, obviously going to be battling it out. She's got that UK National Championships kit that she earned this past spring that you and I commentated actually on, which was a ton of fun. So good to see her showing up on the day. Plenty of unattached riders, it looks like, showing up here as well. So 43 seconds to go here. And the main thing we're going to be focusing on, obviously, though, is the performance coming from the finalists that are out there. Looks like there's a lot of focus on the faces here. We're going to be ramping things up here in just a moment. You're going to get this live view, everybody, of what it looks like for a Zwift start as they get moving. Matt, real quick, the ramp up is so important, I think, as they go in, and we're going to see exactly how that looks.
Yeah, the start of a Zwift race, the best way to compare it is like a cyclocross. We've actually got all the girls here counting down. Here's the countdown from the team they're going to be joining in 2020. Here we go, just an indication of what the atmosphere is like here, Nathan. Big power early on, way over 300 watts. And we've got to do that to stay in contention. This is going to be electric all the way to the line. Nathan, I'm going to hand over to you. I'll be speaking to you a little bit later. We're going to chat with last year's Zwift Academy winner, Ella Harris, midway through the race. But for now, Nathan, it's over to you.
Thanks a lot, Matt. This is going to be a super fast and very quick race. One lap, probably around 20 minutes or so for a finish time. And taking over at the front immediately, I saw Leah Brewer there from, it looked like. Now it's Pratt actually on the front here. Jess Pratt, one of the finalists now, coming out of Australia in that Zwift Academy kit now. And then at the front again, it's going to be Leah Brew taking over from Team Fearless here. A couple of riders falling off the back immediately, and that's what's going to happen as they head into this 2% uphill gradient. It is a steady grind immediately from the get-go out on course here. It looks like the main pack that we can see is going to be around 25, 24 riders. Carlson sitting on the back of it looks like, with Talentino coming from Team Fearless. Rosamund Bradbury. Now, we were talking before, Matt and I were talking before the race, and we were chatting about what the tactics might be for this race, because it's such a fast and furious race. It's going to be only about 20 minutes. You know, raking this pack is going to be very difficult, but that might be what they need to do to get the win outright amongst all the competitors. Now, obviously, it's going to be about the Academy finalists against each other and how they end up finishing against each other, but maybe also one of the things that may be watched is how they perform in a pack like this, how they perform in a race situation, what their tactics are, how they end up performing under pressure when it comes to having to make a break happen. Having Bradbury in this group here, being such a solid sprinter, that's how we saw her win that UK National Championship. So this is actually, having this rider in here is another marker, I think, about how you play your tactics in some ways. So we'll see if they can break her off the back of this pack at some point, because there are some significant climbs on course. Now, 4% uphill gradient, steady climb to begin with. It's going to be a very sharp downhill in just about, I believe, 500-600 meters or so. Bradbury sitting at the back of the pack at this point, though, and getting that draft. Now, we do know that Samara Shepherd is out there, one of the finalists, and she is a multi-time XCO champion of New Zealand. So she's going to be one that's going to be able to climb, that's for sure. Being out on the mountain bike and able to hammer those kinds of watts, I'll be watching out for her. We've seen her walk away as well in the KISS Super League last year out on the New York course. So when it does go uphill, I'll be watching out for Shepherd to take things down. But we're not sure how things have been performing throughout the last week as far as against each other amongst the finalists. You know, Kathy Colleen as well as Jessica Pratt, they might have been showing something different in real life out on some of the climbs that they've been doing and battling out against each other. So we'll have to wait and see if perhaps with a little extra pressure, we may see a difference in the ways that they start to shine out on course here. But back to the front of the race, it does look like it is going to be Matchner now. It looks like taking over. Pratt sitting in about second wheel. Colin now following as well. And those ladies, I think they're definitely just going to be watching where the purple jerseys are heading on the course there. Up along the left side now, I believe Shepherd now starting to take over. It looks like 4.0, 4.3 watts per kilogram here coming from Samara now as she starts to take over second wheel on course. Bradbury now going toward the front of that Team Turbo kit, though. That's going to be the black and dark purple kit in the front of now, actually Bacchus now taking over in the turbo kit, though. But make sure you're keeping eyes on those turbo kits as well as the draft kits. I believe the draft kits are also out there, and we'll see if we can find some of those red kits. The Team Fearless is out there in the yellow neon type kit as well. I am seeing the Rowan King kit here coming from Gardner, though, so watch out for one rider coming from Rowan King here. So Bacchus now taking over the front. Now this section of the course can be dangerous because of the sharp downhill that's about to come in a second here as Bacchus takes over at 4.9 watts per kilogram, 163 beats per minute in the upper left-hand corner. If you're not familiar with Zwift racing as well as the world of Zwift and what you're seeing on the screen, in the upper left-hand corner, you're seeing the wattages of the rider we're looking at right now. So Colleen, one of the finalists right there out of South Africa, currently 178 beats per minute, 168 watts or so. As they head downhill, she's going to be grabbing that draft, bumping up to 5.4 for a second, so maybe looking to take some of the speed that she's gaining on this downhill into the flatter section. That is a good section to try and make a breakaway once you do hit the flat in just a moment. There's a little bit of a bump here for a second, though, as you can see, 5% uphill grade. You can see the gradient at any time in the upper right hand of the screen on the little mini map there. Now toward the front, though, it looks like Madsen taking over out of Denmark now. Pratt jumps onto the wheel, makes sure nobody is going in here. Smart Shepherd on the right-hand side of the screen there, now sitting about third wheel. You can hear the background there and some of the cheering that might be going on in the background. The riders really suffering. Catherine, it looks like, taking a little bit of sweat off the brow there. Shepherd looking very calm at this point. Look at the the concentration and the demeanor of each of the athletes. Matt, can you give me a little bit of an idea of how you're feeling the room is at this point? Where are the riders at with their efforts?
Well, the riders are just completely and utterly in the zone. We've just seen the kind of power output. They're kind of riding at or around threshold, a little bit over threshold earlier on in the drag. There was a nice little bit of recovery, but again, the point that you talked about on the bottom of that hill, they get lent on the gears, then big power kind of surge. The riders are really starting to sweat. None of them at the moment have even looked across at each other. They've all got their game faces on, completely and utterly focused on making sure they're staying at the head of this group, which is whittled down already. Couldn't believe it, that very, very fast start already whittled down to around 20 riders. We're even seeing here Catherine actually just cooling herself down now with a bead on. It's getting very, very warm in here. We've just had to open up the doors, but still a very tactical affair. But soon we'll be on the latter part of the circuit. I don't know, in about 200 meters time, we'll swing a right. Then we drop down and kick up. And again, the last part of the circuit is up and down all the way to the finish line. So very, very technical, isn't it, Nathan? Very, very challenging. Lots of potential springboards for riders to attack.
Yeah, and we do have, it looks like, about 3 climbs to go before, well, 4 climbs, including the one on the finish here. So lots of climbing yet to go. The initial uphill gradient is just that. It's just this little false flat that they had to deal with. Now we're going to head uphill a little bit more here, just for another 2, 3, 4, 5% gradient, but very sharp downhill in just a moment. It's going to be very, very high speeds. This is actually a dangerous place on course, not just the uphills when it comes to this course out here. Collins, now Shepard heading to the front. I think Smart does know that this section is a place that you need to watch out for what the other riders might be doing, because the speeds can get so incredibly high as they hit this. I believe it's going to go up into 16, 17% downhill, actually. So here up now, Madsen from Turbo taking over toward the front. We do have a couple of riders at the back there. It looks like Brown as well as Chaff. Cora here as well. Revo off the back now at this point, so a few riders unable to hang on. Cryogen, they're hanging on toward the back as well in the blue and white kit. But it is Brewer from Fearless now, second wheel. Team Fearless now, 3 riders making the way to the front. Canyon Schramm, all the finalists sitting pretty there. We do see Jessica Pratt there sitting in about 5th, 6th wheel. Now moving back to the back of this pack. They're going to be looking to grab this draft. Probably going to get an arrow tuck in a moment here, bring the watts down as much as they possibly can, as the draft really does matter on this downhill. The speed's getting incredibly high now, as we are seeing that negative 19% gradient as it max out at 90 kilometers per hour. Now we're going to have another little uphill grind through a pasture here in just a moment. And they're going to be getting cheered on by a bunch of sheep out in the countryside of Yorkshire. Love it to see the environment that's been created by Zwift here that they're able to battle it out on. Now it is at the front, though, going to be Clark from Team Cryogen in the blue and white kit. Shepard now heading to the front, but it looks like just rotating through, making sure that she does not end up at the back and allow any gaps to go. 4% uphill gradient here, as you can see. This will be a steady grind before they head downhill again, and then the proper KOM, which is going to be probably about a 2 to 2.5 minute climb, everything they got to the top. That will be one of the main sections they're going to be looking forward to on this one lap of the UCI 2019 course. We do see one rider out of Germany starting to fall off. I guess the pace is starting to pick up, and Walls now is off the back just a little bit, using a feather power up though, but it looks like that rider's going to be biting the dust here. It is going to be 19 riders making it, as it looks like Madsen is starting to turn the screws a little bit. 3.6 watts per kilogram on the front from her. Collins now, Shepard here 5.5. Maybe Shepard making a little bit of a move. No, but it was a little bit of a tease there from Shepard, it looked like, at the front, allowing her watts to go up over that 5.5, seeing if anyone's going to respond, perhaps keeping the pace high. Now 5.1, interesting to see. On a 2% uphill gradient, maybe not going to be the best place to make moves. You have to really burn the matches at the right time, I think. You know, and without any serious attacks up front over and over and over again, this looks like it's going to be one of those situations where they're looking to make a one and done. Like one attack, make it happen, make the break, and go. Or after an initial attack, then after that, it's just consistently attacking over and over and over again by putting people over threshold, putting them into that hurt locker. We'll have to see how the tactics do play out here, though, as perhaps they're all going to wait for a sprint, though. That could be a situation. With how much climbing there's a lot of opportunity still to make something happen. As you can see in the upper right-hand side of the screen, you can see all of the mini-map, and on that mini-map at the bottom of it, you can see the profile of the course. They're going to have a downhill here for a little bit and then head into that KOM. It's going to be a left-hand turn into the KOM here in just a moment here. I do believe that Matt has, I believe, Ella Harris on site over there in Spain, last year's winner of the Zwift Academy, for a quick little interview, just to get a little bit of a insight into what it's been like for her, as well as what she thinks this race is playing out. Matt, how's it going over there on site over in Spain?
Well, it really is heating up. We're into the last part of the race now. But as you said, I've got Ella Harris, last year's Zwift Academy winner. Ella, you've not only won the Zwift Academy, you rode the actual world circuit. You rode the World Road Championships. But more importantly, actually, looking at these girls now, heading towards the finish, what's it like to be in their position? Because it's so stressful. There's so much at stake.
Yeah, it's very nerve-wracking, especially the Zwift race with everyone watching. And I know that over the past week, the stress and the anxiousness, nervousness sort of built up. So I bet they're all just wanting to get over and done with and looking forward to when the announcement's made. But yeah.
And this is what it's all about. It's on track with the 2020 team. One of these girls here will be your teammate for next year. But how much has winning the Academy changed your life?
I can't even put into words how much it's changed my life. I would have never have dreamt of being on a team this amazing and this well set up, and it's just set me up for a life of professional cycling. So yeah, it's really amazing.
Brilliant stuff. Well, that's what it's all about. Ella's life has changed. This race is now changing. There's a couple of splits on this nasty little climb. Nathan, pick up the action. This is going to be a sensational finale.
Yeah, we got Samara Shepherd off the front here. This is what we were expecting from her. The mountain biker coming out of New Zealand here, one of the finalists, but Jessica Pratt trying to close it down. 6.6 watts per kilogram coming from Pratt now, but it looks like she's struggling to come through. Gardner from Rowan King, maybe a wheel because she can grab onto it. She's using that feather power up, lowering her avatar's weight in the game to get some speed on this uphill, but it's 7% right now. Holding steady. Samara Shepherd, 6 watts per kilogram on the attack right now. Gardner closing it down. Jessica Pratt looking to go. Rosamund Bradbury, we were talking about her being the sprinter. She has to stay in contact, though, because these three are going off the front, and it looks like it's going to be Jess Pratt and Samara Shepherd, both coming out of the Southern Hemisphere, Australia and New Zealand, when it comes to the finalists that are involved there live in Spain right now at the Canyon Tram training camp. They've got one in tow, though, and that's going to be Gardner from Rowan King as they come over the top in just a moment. Now it backs off. 6% gradient. You can almost see the KOM banner, and just off in the distance, Samar continues to press the pace, though, and that's what she needs to do. She cannot back off. She cannot start looking at each other at this point. Both of these riders, Pratt and Shepherd, have to continue over the top because it's only 7 seconds back to some of the strongest community racers that we have ever seen out on Zwift. Bradbury, look at me going maybe a little bit on her own from Team Turbo. Behind here, about 8 seconds back. She's in a gap, kind of in no woman's land at this point, as Roland Zembakis there from Team Turbo sit in. Gardner, though, on the front, pushing the pace. 201 beats per minute currently coming from Gardner. Pratt there, 197. Samara Shepherd, she's also sitting at 186 beats per minute. Crazy heart rates right now. They got to continue over the top, as we said, though. It's starting to go out again. 13 seconds or so. Shepherd up and out of the side. Colleen's been dropped at this point. Catherine in the middle there, just suffering to hang on, it looks like, for the main pack. It looks like Catherine Colleen has been able to almost grab back onto the main pack, but this is absolutely blown apart at this point. There's a main group off the front now, or main breakaway off the front of 3 riders. Gardner, Pratt, Shepherd. Then it's a solo rider, Rosemore Bradbury, the UK national champion. She's 21 seconds back, though, at this point. I'm not sure that's going to be closed down. We've got 2 more climbs to go out here. One little bump through the sprint section, and then we're going to be heading uphill, 9% uphill grade, a big old kick, and then a flat to the finish line. Look at this race. It is blown apart. Backus now from Turbo looking to chase down her teammate perhaps and work together with Rosamund Bradbury. That's going to be 36 seconds back from what we're seeing on screen. There it is. Backus now. Just ahead of Backus, as you can see, is Rosamund Bradbury. Team Turbo might be able to get together with Rosalind and make something happen to close down 28 seconds. Bradbury is a ruler type. She's got big wattage. She's a larger rider. She's able to just throw down a pure wattage, which equals pure speed and any kind of race on a bicycle. Gardner on the front there, as you can see, at 4.0 watts per kilogram, now starting to work together with Jess Pratt and Samara Shepherd. The 2 finalists that are still involved, though, that's them right there at the back, sitting on the Rowan King's wheel. That's in the blue. kit on course right now, but it's the purple kits you want to be paying attention to as it hits a 6% uphill gradient. Again, a feather power up. How lucky is Gardner? Gardner again gets another feather power up. Now that may only help though Shepard and Pratt if they're able to hang on to her wheel. In the background, all the cheering going on live on site now. Loving to hear it, but Pratt comes over the top. 5 watts per kilogram. Shepard maybe on the back foot a little bit at this point. 196 beats per minute currently coming from Pratt. The suffering. Look at the grimace there on Pratt's face on the lower right-hand side of that camera there. Shepard up into the saddle now. A little bit of a kick coming from her. Looking very confident at this point as she starts to hammer, holding on to Gardner's wheel. This is so exciting coming into the sprint section in just a moment here. They're trying to break each other a little bit. I mean, these watts are no joke. They've got 25 seconds still. They still have a lot of work to do to the finish line. This can be shut down pretty quickly by the kind of talent that is behind, because Bradbury is just being caught by, it looks like, 6 riders at this point. Back is her teammate. It looks like Rosalind as well coming out of Norway, Brewer, Mackner, as well as there's actually 2 L Brewers out there from Fierce, and Bitter all have made a group, what it looks to be of 7 riders that are on the chase to try and catch the 3 that are off the front. It's going to be a big ask, but they have to work together. If they do work together, they might be able to make it happen. We'll have to wait and see. As far as the KOMs over the top, it was a 2:26, and that was awarded to Rowan King's Gardner. Shepard was able to come through in second for the Yorkshire Queen of the Mountain over the top for the Queen of the Mountain, and it was going to be a 2:26.6, only a tenth of a second difference between each one of the riders, actually, as Pratt came through at 0.7 behind. So that, all right next to each other as they come over the top of that Queen of the Mountain now. Gardner now taking over the front. They're really letting her do the brunt of the work, and I think Pratt and Shepard are really going to be watching each other, because that's what it's all about. These two are battling out, along with Catherine Colleen over in Spain right now for that 2020 Canyon SRAM Pro contract. That is what's going on in front of you right now. Now, the winner of the race does not necessarily win the contract, everyone. Just as you're watching here, this is one of the markers. This is one of the things used. How do you race? What's the tactics you're using? What's the kind of power, peak powers you can put out? There's going to be all kinds of things that the coaches on site are going to be watching to say who is going to be able to get that. But this is one of the things that will be used, and you can bet that how this tactic is played out, how the finish is executed by these riders is most definitely going to be used as they cross the finish line. Pratt now, Shepard, 4.1 watts per kilogram, looking to take over. They've got 43 seconds. They know that this race is most likely done. Now, as far as the group that's chasing, that's not coming back. They were able to break them over the KOM, and that's what we were talking about. They did not want to see the type of sprinter that Bradbury is at the finish line with them. So they broke the rest of the pack, and they got away. Now it's all about coming into this downtown as they head into the final climb. It will be an intense climb, though, that's for sure. In just a moment here, they're going to kick this little 6% uphill gradient, and then it looks like Pratt's falling off, and Shepard, 8.5 watts per kilogram coming from her. Gardner's going with her. Pratt's got to respond. 7.4 watts per kilogram coming from Pratt, but it's a 1-second gap. Rowan King's Gardner here, giving her an advantage. Gardner's looking to win it outright. Shepard's got to hold on to the wheel. Look at Shepard up and out of the saddle there. Look at the focus on the screen coming from Samara Shepard. Pratt is suffering. It's one of those situations where it's just trying to find every watt coming from Pratt's body at this point. She looks to rock back and forth, but Shepard in command, up and out of the saddle, attacking at the screen, racing those pixels. 7 seconds now. Samara Shepard walking away from the other finalists at this point. It's 8 seconds now. It's not coming back because Pratt is in no women's land. It's a left-hand turn. It's going to be a right-hand turn into a crazy uphill gradient. Shepard actually uses an arrow power-up. She's looking to break Gardner immediately. She don't care. She's taking speed into this final climb. Gardner now 6.8 watts per kilogram. Can she make it happen against one of the fastest riders we've ever seen out on Zwift? 10% uphill gradient. Samara Shepard, look at her go. She's so focused at this point. She's got to grab onto the wheel, though. Gardner, 6.3 watts per kilogram, takes over. She's got another orange watts per kilogram now. Shepard may be breaking at this point. 5 watts per kilogram coming from. She's still up and out of the saddle, but Gardner is walking away. But Samara Shepard looks to have won this outright amongst the finalists. She can just roll to the line, but that's not rolling to the line. Look at her. She's putting everything on the line as she's got the rest of the Canyon SRAM team around her watching. This is all about putting on a show live there to show what she can do when it comes to putting it on the line for her team, never giving up. Everything you got to the line, that is what's going to matter when it comes to racing amongst the pros. And it looks like she has put it on the line today in this Zwift race to show exactly what she can do for a team. And it looks like Samara Shepard 4-4 across the line. She's going to roll steady. What an amazing race. Pratt's going to come in for second. She's only 19 seconds back, and she beat also some of the best riders out on Zwift. So that is no joke. We've got UK national champion Rosamund Bradbury sprinting to the line, but she's 15 seconds behind Jessica Pratt. So that's no joke of an effort as well. Amazing effort all around. Catherine Colleen here as well, looking to finish things up. Matt Stevens, let's look at Matt cheering Catherine on to the line. Absolutely amazing to see. What an effort this has been. It looks like maybe we've lost the feed here for a second out of Spain, but oh my goodness, Samara Shepard able to absolutely demolish that race. We said that because of the climbing, it was going to be that type of a race where the mountain biker may be favored. Here's the results. Gardner from Rowan King, 20:34, 7 seconds back, and the first one across the line amongst the Zwift Academy finalists, Samara Shepard. Then it was Pratt there, Jess Pratt coming out of Australia, 24:76. Rosamund Bradbury for fourth place. Not a place she's used to taking out there, but amongst the climbing, it was just a little too much with the kind of level that was brought to the race today. Fifth place, Leah Brewer coming across for Team Fearless, and it's going to be Kirsten Bitter coming through out of the Netherlands, riding unattached. Charlotte Backus for Team Turbo coming through in seventh out of the US of A. Kathy Mackner followed up by Louise Brewer for Team Fierce, and then Emily Rosalind coming through just behind in 10th place. Looks like it was a solid sprint between all of those ladies, actually, all within 1 second of each other for the top 10 out there. So we'll see if we can get the images back from Spain. We are bringing those in from across the world, between actually 3 different locations. So it's we'll see if we can bring that back in and get an interview with the finalist in just a moment here. I believe we are refreshing the call here in just a second. As far as the watts per kilogram, real quick, I know stats are a big thing that people like to talk about, especially it's one of the things that's pretty awesome about Zwift, that we're able to bring in, at this high level. We've been talking a lot about how World Tour type numbers and the pool of riders that we're able to pull from now, and that's what Zwift Academy is all about. We're able to pull from a worldwide pool of riders that can bring the cream of the crop, rise to the top, and find the next top pro out on Zwift. That's what this has been all about with the Zwift Academy. You just watched the Zwift Academy finals race live coming from you with those finalists in Andalusia, Spain at the Canyon SRAM training camp. The kind of numbers at the front end of this race, as I'm looking at the results here, let's see if I can bring them in just a second. We saw the results, Samara Shepard, the first one across the line amongst the ladies, and there it is. But for that win, Gardner actually played a little bit smarter. 4.7 watts per kilogram, Gardner from the Rowan King team. 4.8 watts per kilogram coming from Samara Shepard. She actually did a little bit more work per watts per kilogram out there. So pretty amazing to see. As far as the average heart rates, 179 beats per minute coming from Lily Gardner. We're seeing 176 beats per minute there coming from Samara Shepard. It's been absolutely crazy efforts out there. I believe we do have Matt Stevens back, and he's going to have an interview, I believe, with a few of the finalists and the winner. Matt, what a race, what a move by Gardner and Shepard. First Academy finalist across the line. Looks like we're waiting for a little bit of audio here. 1 second, Matt. We're waiting for the audio, Matt. We don't have your audio. I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna wait and get that in ear. As soon as we got it in ear, we'll bring it back in just a second. Maybe the mic not on there for a second. We'll see what we can get here in just a moment. A couple more things as we wait for that. This past week, Matt was talking about all the different things that they were up to. These riders have had an absolutely crazy week of really, really hard tests. They've been out there doing hill climbs. They've been doing ramp tests. They've been doing intervals, sprint workouts, seeing how they do amongst the team. They've had, I think, 4 or 5 different Canyon SRAM pro riders all working with them to see how they perform in different race circumstances. It's been absolutely awesome. So as we were saying earlier, it's not just about this Zwift race, obviously. They're going to be going for a pro contract to be racing in the UCI World Tour Pro races. So because of that, they're in and amongst pro riders and finding out each of the different situations that they need to perform in. And each one of those performances, obviously, are going to be taken into account to figure out who gets the pro contract. So the effort that you're seeing here in this race out on Zwift, obviously one that's going to be taken, but also it's going to be all about what the riders were doing with the pro riders that are out there. I have a feeling lots of people are going to be chatting back and forth amongst the team to figure out, who best fits. It's also about the best fit too. What kind of role is needed in the team, what kind of role as well that rider can play and how they're going to shine and excel as a professional. So all that taken into account. We're on the penultimate day here with the Zwift Academy finals race here that we just saw out here. Amazing job by Samara Shepard coming across the line first amongst the Academy riders. Great job, though, the Gardner as well. And I believe we've got them again. I think Matt is live now with the finalists over there. No, we do not got them back. Okay, we do not got them back. So I think, are we just done for the day, Vlad, perhaps? So I think we're going to be done for the day on the Zwift Academy Finals race. Amazing job, though, out to Samara Shepard. Again, they're across the world over in Spain, hammering it out there for what happens with the Zwift Academy Finals. Make sure to be following on Facebook, Instagram. There's been plenty of updates coming out of the camp. And be watching out for the announcement video that should be coming real soon. For everybody out there, thanks for watching. Great job to everybody that jumped into the race out there. And as always, ride on.